Hey guys, it's Keeley, and today I'm going to be doing my July wrap-up. I read 10 and a half books this month. Thanks to Booktubeathon, I did a Booktubeathon wrap-up, which I will leave down below so you can go check that out because I won't be going too much into those books because I did do a wrap-up over them. And I guess I could have read a lot more this month considering I did read 7 in that week. But the thing is, I recently discovered Good Mythical Morning on YouTube, and I have been religiously watching them, and they are so funny, and I love them. I definitely recommend you go check them out, even though they may take up a lot of your reading time, but I still had a great reading month and read so many amazing books, so let's get on into it. The first book I read this month was The Adoration of Jenna Fox by Mary E. Pearson. This follows a girl named Jenna Fox who is in an accident and is in a coma for a while, and when she wakes up she has no idea who she is. She doesn't remember the accident, she doesn't remember her life before it, so she really has no idea what's going on. And then secrets start spilling out and she starts figuring out that something weird is up here, so she starts kind of investigating and trying to figure out who she is and what's going on. I enjoyed this book a lot. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars though. There were some points where I was just like, okay, this is getting kind of repetitive, or it was just kind of slow for me, but I did still enjoy it and it was very interesting, so I'm definitely going to continue on with the next book in the series. The next book I'm going to talk about very briefly, and that is because it is the first book I have ever DNF'd, and that stands for Do Not Finish if you don't know, and I couldn't get into this one. It is the first book in the Circle trilogy, which is Black by Ted Dekker, and it was like about 416 pages, and I got to page 200, so I got exactly like halfway through, and I just couldn't get into it. It was making me feel really slumpy, and it was right before the Booktubeathon, so I just went ahead and put it down so I would have a great Booktubeathon. And so yeah, it was just, I couldn't get into it, and maybe it's because it's an adult fantasy and I'm still more young adult, middle grade, even though I'm like considered an adult, but whatever. If you're interested in this book, it follows this guy who, whenever he falls asleep, enters another world. So if he falls asleep in our world, he will enter the other world, and if he falls asleep in that world, he enters our world. And so he gets confused as to which one is actual reality, and there's this virus that's about to be unleashed, and he's the only one that knows about it. So he goes and tries to stop it, and I was really sad that I couldn't get into this because I really thought that sounded interesting, but yeah, I just couldn't get into it, so I don't have a rating for it because I didn't finish, so I don't feel like it's right to give a rating for it, but I did get halfway through it. The next 7 books are all the books that I read for Booktubeathon, so like I said, I won't go into detail with them. You can go watch my wrap-up for that down below. But the first book I read for that week was Happy Face by Stephen Emond. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. It was really, really good and really interesting and very real, and it deals with some real aspects that many people deal with today. So it was definitely very good. The next book I read was The Invention of Hugo, Cabre by Brian Selznick. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. It was so amazing. The illustrations are amazing. It's set in the 1930s in France. What more could you want? It was so good, and I definitely recommend it. Brian Selznick is amazing, and I can't wait to read more of his books. The next book I read for Booktubeathon was 100 Sideways Miles by Andrew Smith. I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. It was not my favorite Andrew Smith book, but it was still very entertaining to read. And the reason why I gave it 3 out of 5 stars was because some of the characters were kind of annoying and off-putting for me personally. I know other people will find them likable, but for me, one of them just didn't stick with me, but I still really enjoyed it, and it was a very interesting read, and it was very eccentric, I guess you could say. The next book I read was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is the bind-up of the 2 Alice books, and the first one I gave 4 out of 5 stars. It was pretty enjoyable. I was just kind of underwhelmed with it and disappointed because I thought I would enjoy it a lot more, but still 4 out of 5 stars is really good. The next book I read for the Booktubeathon was The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. Now this was a reread for me. This is like my favorite book ever, so once again I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I really want everyone to read this. If you're interested, once again, go watch my wrap-up and you will hear what it's about, what it entails, and all that stuff. The next book I read was Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. I give this one 2 out of 5 stars. The world got really annoying to me and just really kind of confusing, and so I just really didn't enjoy it, and I just finished it to finish a book in the Booktubeathon. But yeah, 2 out of 5 stars. And the last book I finished for the Booktubeathon was The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. It was so fun and so cute, and I absolutely loved this story. I loved the movie growing up, so it was so much fun reading the story this time. And the next book I finally got to was Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It did take me a little bit to get into it, and that's why I gave it 4 out of 5 stars and not the 5. It's not my favorite John Green book, but I still really loved it. And the end was so beautiful. I really loved the ending, and I was like crying because it made me so happy, and it was just beautiful, and I love it so much. And if you don't know, it's about this kid named Will Grayson, and he meets the other Will Grayson. They just randomly happen to run into each other, and so this book is dual narrated, and it's just like their worlds kind of collide, and yeah, it's just really fun. The characters are really fun, and I really enjoyed it. And the last book I read in the month of July, which I finished just moments before filming this wrap-up, was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by J.K. Rowling. This is the play script for the London play that's going on, and oh my goodness, guys. I went to the midnight release party for this last night, and it was the best experience ever. I might make a video on my entire experience. If you're interested in that, let me know, because I really just want to talk about my experience and Harry Potter. I just want to have like a video about Harry Potter so we could just like talk, because it means so much to me. But anyway, this book was so good. Of course I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I loved seeing all the old characters. I love seeing the new characters. Like, this just makes me so happy. Like, I'm so happy just talking about this. I'm so happy it's in my hands and that I have read it. It was just amazing, and it was dark and it was fun. I laughed. Okay, Ron Weasley, he is so funny, and I would laugh like every time he would say something. It was just so good. So definitely let me know down below if you want me to do a whole Harry Potter and the Cursed Child release party video type thing. I would love to do it and just talk to you guys about it. But yeah, go pick this up like right away. So those are all the books that I read in the month of July. I hope you had a fantastic reading month, and let me know down below what your favorite book of the month was. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!